current wave of voter suppression legislation succeeds and keeps tens or hundreds of thousands of people from voting in 2022 or 2024? Or what if in 2024 a partisan legislature in a swing state, and they are giving themselves this power right now, a partisan legislature in a swing state votes to override the election results in their state and send their own preferred set of electors to Washington? Then it won't just be Republicans who distrust elections. And we will be left with a downward spiral toward a hollow shell of democracy where only raw power prevails and its peaceful transfer becomes a distant memory. There's been a great deal of talk in recent weeks and months of a possible constitutional crisis in 2022 or 2024. Madam President, we don't have to wait that long. We are in the midst of such a crisis right now. One of our great political parties has embraced the idea that our last election was fraudulent, that our current president is illegitimate, that they must move legislatures across the country to fix the results of future elections. Here's the part that I think is the most tragic. A substantial portion of our population has lost faith in our democratic system because they've been repeatedly told that something important was stolen from them, even though that is untrue. And that portion of our population seems prepared to accept some version of authoritarianism. All but the most extreme sources of information have been devalued, and violence bubbles just below the surface. But it doesn't have to be this way. We in this body, perhaps more than anyone else in the country, have the power to change direction, to pull our country back from the brink, and to begin the work of restoring our democracy as we did in the Revolution, as we did in the Civil War, and as we did in the civil rights struggles of 60 years ago. First, by simply telling the truth, and then by enacting a set of basic protections of the sacred right to vote. It won't be easy, and it will involve risk. I am aware of that. I understand that. It will be particularly difficult when we're asked to speak hard truths that many of our most ardent supporters don't want to hear. But the alternative is worse even than losing your job in this body. The alternative is the loss of our identity as a people, the loss of the miracle of self-government, the loss of the idea of America. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we are at a hinge of history, that circumstances have thrust us, those of us in this body, into a moment when the fate of the American experiment hangs in the balance. We are the heirs and trustees, I emphasize trustees, of a tradition that goes back to Jefferson and Lincoln, to Webster, Madison, Margaret Chase Smith, and yes, our friend John McCain. All of them were partisans in one way or another, but all shared an overriding commitment to the idea that animates the American experiment, the idea that our government is of, by, and for the people. All the people. Lincoln thought that the most important word in the Declaration of Independence was all. All men are created equal. All the people. Now is the moment that we're called upon to reach beyond our region, our state, our party, ourselves, to save and reinvigorate the sputtering flame of the American idea. Yes, democracy is an anomaly in world history. We have to remember that. What we have is unusual. It's rare and it's fragile. It rests upon the Constitution and laws, to be sure, but it also rests even more on the trust our people place in our democratic system and in us. deliberately undermining that trust for short-term political advantage, which is exactly what's happening right now. Undermining that trust for political advantage in the short term is exactly what's happening right now, is a tragic and dangerous game. No election, no endorsement, no Senate seat, no presidency is worth it. Nothing is worth destroying what our forebears fought and died for. Nothing.